one. You can also tweet at smooth981. And yes, so let's get in. What special guest joining us this morning? Our guest is Abdulazeez Kuranga. He is Sub-Saharan Africa's macroeconomic strategist at Cordros Securities Limited. And we're talking about six sectors that need the president-elect urgent attention. And I'm going to give you the numbers again. The WhatsApp number is 0809 440 981. You can also tweet at smooth981. And we're streaming live as well, so you can actually catch the live stream up on our YouTube channel. It's smooth981 FM Lagos. Good morning, Abdulazeez. Good morning, Abdulazeez, and welcome to Business Express.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Awesome. We're drawing closer to Inauguration Day, and the discussion is inspired by yesterday's front page cover story, and this was from the Daily Trust. So we're going to be looking at six sectors: security, power, healthcare, infrastructure, manufacturing, and agriculture. So, Abdulazeez, how important is security to the Nigerian economy?
Okay, thanks once again for having me. For security, to look at how important it is. So just assume we have two farmers, and every day they go to their farm, they farm every day, they cultivate every day, and they harvest. Then suddenly, in a day, the family of one of the families, they came to Mr. A. We have Mr. A, Mr. B. So the family of Mr. A, they came to meet Mr. A that Mr. B has been killed on the farmland, and all his harvests has also been destroyed on the farmland. What will happen to Mr. A? Mr. A will be afraid to go to the farmland because he also does not want to get killed, and he also does not want anything to happen to him. So in that case, then imagine an aggregation of farmers, a lot of farmers, these things happening to a lot of farmers, the fears from a lot of people to go to their farmland because of this insecurity, these securities challenges. So that fear will not want to make them to go anywhere to cultivate and to also harvest. And there's also a saying that the more you sow, what you sow is what you will reap. So if cultivation and planting is very low, what will happen to harvest? Harvest will be very, very low. So that shows the importance of security in the form of food prices, and also in the form of how it affects lives and properties. And this particularly affects the agricultural sector in the form of low output. And if output is low relative to demand, what happens? Prices continue to increase significantly. And that is like one of the reasons why we've been seeing increasing food prices over time, holding all other factors constant, but securities challenges. So that highlights one of the importance of securities challenges in the Nigerian economy.
Now, the outgoing president is a former military general, and a lot of Nigerians had high expectations that the insecurity problems would be tackled and, for the betterment of all Nigerians. How do you think security has been in this time?
It's obvious, based on data, based on what we've seen also over the past years, although there've been some improvements in some quarters, but what we've seen is that these challenges continues over time. So at times you see that they've made some progress, and at times you see that this continues to increase, particularly these clashes between farmers and herders. And that just adds to boil down with some interest as well as some personal clashes and the likes. And it is why we've seen even the southwestern states coming up to form their own securities outfit in the form of this Amotekun that we've seen, and also some other parts of the state. So it's just quite unfortunate, and so we just hope probably the incoming administration there will be some sustainable solutions that we can see over time. But it's just unfortunate that over the past 8 years, despite the significant progress that we've made in terms of equipping some of these military agencies, we've seen security issues still persist and even increasing in some quarters, thereby affecting different sectors of the economy.
All right, Abdulazeez, let's talk about power. How do you think the incoming administration could actually tackle power?
Probably this will be coming in the form of tackling power. Um, in my view, should be coming in the form of private sector participation and also unlocking other aspects for power generation, such as gas and also solar electricity. And we've also seen from the manifesto of the incoming government that is also trying from its manifesto is already saying that they will be encouraging off-grid and renewable power generation options, as well as solutions to be undertaken by willing private sector participants. And also there's also the introduction of a Nigerian first policy by which gas resources will also be utilized and also directed as the #1 priority of Nigeria's power generation. So I think the next administration or the incoming administration also sees the importance of power in developing the Nigerian economy, and this is why power has also formed one of the core focus in the manifesto of the administration. So hopefully we'll just see how this goes.
You're listening to Business Express on Smooth 98.1. Guest is Abdulazeez Kuranga, who's Sub-Saharan Africa's macroeconomic strategist from Cordros Securities. And we're talking about the 6 sectors that need the president-elect's urgent attention. We're looking at security, power, healthcare, infrastructure, manufacturing, and agriculture. So let us know what your thoughts are. The WhatsApp number to send your messages to is 0809 444 0981. And you can also tweet at Smooth981. So let's move on to healthcare. Now, almost 8 years in office, we're still seeing the president have medical care outside the country. Just last month, he did go over to the UK to have a dental appointment of some sort after the inauguration, the coronation, I beg your pardon. How can the president-elect address healthcare for Nigerians?
Well, addressing healthcare in Nigeria is very, it's somehow looking inwards. So why not look inwards and also try to develop your own healthcare system, and probably that also is also boiling in line with the fact that the resources are not effectively utilized, given, for instance, how you see the amount of money that is being spent on fuel subsidy, about 4 trillion naira last year, and 2020, you see the huge amount of resources that is being spent on two subsidies. So that's just like one area of resources misallocation and underutilization. So with all those resources, if we can channel them and redirect them into more productive uses in form of education and health, specifically as you mentioned, and we have personnel that they can also we have also medical personnel that they can also man and also manage all these resources, then that should be effectively tackled. And also the president also has to be like an example for the citizens of the country. So if you have that trust and that confidence in your healthcare system, and also that healthcare system that you've also developed that by also channeling the right resources into that, then probably we should be seeing a reduction in medical tourism over time over the next few years.
All right, let's talk about infrastructure. Now, reports say that Nigeria would need about $30 trillion over the next decade to address its infrastructure needs. Is this an exaggeration?
Well, it's not an exaggeration. We've seen these numbers being brought out and quoted by relevant by the African Development Bank, and I believe a lot of research has gone into this in order to power the country in the form of infrastructure, and that has been the case. And also, if you also want to look at it from capital spending over the past few years, you can see that capital spending has always taken the back seat, and because a majority of priorities has been in the form of non-debt to current expenditure as well as servicing of debt payments. So if you are looking at capital expenditure over time, it has always been between 20 to 25% of the total actual spending annually, which is not enough. So if you are taking that into account, and they're also taking the fact that these relevant agencies they have the manpower, and they've also done their own research into all this, then I think probably it's not an exaggeration. And also considering the fact that currently Nigeria is like a 200 trillion naira economy, and 30 trillion is so 30 trillion as infrastructure deficit is not far-fetched if you are looking at the economy as a whole, which is like a 200 trillion naira economy.
All right, let's talk about manufacturing. Are power and foreign exchange scarcity the biggest headwinds that this sector is facing?
Yes, currently they are the biggest headwinds facing this the manufacturing sector, particularly since 2020. Notably, currently, from what we are seeing, if we want to take an example of this how oil marketers are sourcing for their FX. Currently, we understand that 15%, they only get 15% from the Russian markets, while the remaining 85% is obtained from the parallel market. So that means, and given the fact that the parallel market continues to trade at high levels, 750, 740, 760 per USD, compared to the Russian market of 460 naira per USD. So it means costs are definitely going up, and the fact that power is also not stable is also affecting the operations of these manufacturing sectors in the form of intermittent disruptions in the production process. And for FX, it means costs will be going up. Imported raw material costs will also be going up, and if that is the case, it means manufacturers will have to be scaling down on their production activities, and that will be slowing down the manufacturing sector. Yes, so power, FX, and also recently we've seen increases in taxes also affecting that sector recently, and also the fact that prices continues to increase significantly is also reducing aggregate demand from the consumer. So all those combined together are the key factors that are currently affecting production, and that are also currently affecting manufacturing processes in Nigeria.
All right, we have about 30 seconds. So I want to ask about agriculture. 24% for food inflation. How does the next administration improve matters in this sector?
Okay, our first step in improving agriculture and also increasing food supply is investing in the agricultural value chain. So agriculture is not only about production. Production without following the processes such as manufacturing, the processes by which it reaches the final consumer is not enough. So we have issues such as farm products getting spoiled along the way, storage facilities also inadequate or improper use of fertilizer as well as seedlings. So all those, they affect the production and distribution processes. Infrastructure deficit, as we also mentioned, or this is also affecting the distribution flows of these goods and services. So if we are tackling securities challenges in order to improve our schools, we should also be tackling the value chain in the value chain in the agricultural process. So basically agriculture and value chain, and also improving on the value chain. So those will go a long way in improving our food supply and reducing our food inflation over the medium term.
All right, message from Ladili. Ladili says, I want to believe there should be a seventh education. Absolutely. We have a whole Legal Talks episode dedicated to education in Nigeria. But that is all the time that we have for Business Express this morning. Thank you so much, Abdulazeez, for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
That was Abdulazeez Kuranga, Sub-Saharan Africa macroeconomist, strategist. That's all the time for Business Express. Do stay with us. There's a lot more to come on the Smooth Breakfast. Thank you.